Hello and welcome to Outside Views EU, your source for detailed insights into European Union policies and politics. Today we're delving into the EU's approach to regulating big tech, a topic that impacts millions of Europeans and indeed billions globally. When we think about big tech, giants like Google, Facebook, Amazon and Apple instantly come to mind. These companies have revolutionized how we connect, shop and communicate, but their dominance has also raised serious concerns about market fairness, data privacy and consumer protection. The European Union, in its role as a regulatory powerhouse, has taken a proactive stance to address these issues. Unlike the United States, which has often been slower to act on regulating its homegrown tech giants, the EU has emerged as a global leader in crafting rules for the digital age. At the heart of this regulatory effort lies the so-called Digital Market Act, or DMA, which officially took effect in November 2022. The DMA targets so-called gatekeeper companies, those platforms that wield significant influence over the digital economy. Google dominates in search and online advertising. Amazon has immense power in e-commerce. And Facebook, now Meta, commands the social networking space. And these companies have built ecosystems where competitors struggle to gain a foothold. The DMA's primary aim is to ensure fair competition and to open up these ecosystems to smaller players. It imposes strict obligations on gatekeepers. For instance, it requires them to allow third-party services to integrate and interoperate with their platforms. And this could mean that a smaller messaging app could connect with WhatsApp, offering users greater choice and fostering innovation. And the law also bans self-preferencing, a practice where platforms favor their own services over competitors. Imagine Amazon promoting its own private label products while burying those of independent sellers. That's the kind of behavior the DMA is designed to prevent. But the EU didn't stop with the DMA. The Digital Services Act, or DSA, works hand in hand with the DMA, targeting how platforms handle content and data. The DSA is fundamentally about accountability. It requires platforms to disclose how their algorithms work, particularly those used to recommend or remove content. And this level of transparency is unprecedented and directly addresses criticisms that platforms like Facebook and YouTube spread misinformation or harmful content unchecked. And together the DMA and DSA form a powerful regulatory framework. Yet these aren't the EU's first forays into regulating big tech. The General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, which came into force in 2018, was a landmark piece of legislation. It established strict rules around data collection and processing, forcing companies to obtain explicit consent from users before harvesting their information. The GDPR has become a global gold standard for data privacy, inspiring similar laws in countries like Japan, Brazil, and even certain US states. And despite these achievements, challenges remain. One major issue is enforcement. The EU can craft robust laws, but ensuring compliance from powerful corporations is another matter entirely. Take Google, for example. The company has been fined billions of euros by the European Commission for antitrust violations, yet these fines are a small fraction of its annual revenue. And appeals and lengthy court battles often delay the implementation of corrective measures. Moreover, big tech firms are skilled at finding loopholes. They have vast legal teams and resources dedicated to navigating and at times circumventing regulations. To counter this, the EU has been strengthening its enforcement mechanisms. The European Commission recently established a dedicated task force to oversee compliance with the DMA and DSA. And this task force has the authority to conduct regular audits, impose hefty fines, and even order structural remedies such as breaking up companies if necessary. Fines under the DMA can reach up to 10% of a company's global revenue for a single violation, and they can go as high as 20% for repeat offenders. Beyond penalties, the EU has also tightened its scrutiny of mergers and acquisitions. Big tech often buys smaller companies to eliminate competition or consolidate its dominance in emerging sectors. The EU now requires pre-approval for many of these deals, even when the companies involved don't meet traditional revenue thresholds. And this is crucial for preventing monopolistic behavior before it becomes entrenched. However, these actions haven't been without controversy. Critics argue that the EU's stringent regulations could stifle innovation, and some worry that the high compliance costs might deter startups or lead to reduced investment in Europe's tech sector. On the other hand, supporters see these measures as necessary to ensure fairness and accountability in the digital marketplace. Interestingly, the EU's bold actions have sparked a global regulatory wave. Countries like Canada, Australia, and South Korea are adopting similar approaches to rein in big tech. And even the United States, historically lenient towards its tech giants, has started to consider more robust legislation. But as technology evolves, so do the challenges. Artificial intelligence, blockchain, and the metaverse represent new frontiers that current regulations don't fully address. The EU will need to remain agile and forward-thinking to stay ahead of these developments. So to conclude, the EU's approach to regulating big tech is ambitious. It's multifaceted and arguably the most comprehensive in the world. It's a balancing act, one that seeks to protect consumers, foster competition, and maintain innovation. But it's also an ongoing effort requiring constant vigilance and adaptation. And what's your take on the EU stance? Do these regulations strike the right balance, or do they risk going too far? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below the video. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more deep dives into EU policies and politics. Thank you for watching Outside Views again, and I'll see you in the next video. One of them is right here in the end screen.